There is a cruel paradox at the heart of human interaction. It is a mechanism that operates with the cold precision of gravity, yet most men spend their entire lives fighting against it. The paradox is this: the more you attempt to secure value, the faster it evaporates from your hands. We are taught that effort correlates with reward. In architecture, if you work harder, the building rises faster. In economics, if you produce more, you earn more. But in the subterranean landscape of social dynamics and attraction, this Newtonian logic collapses. Here, effort is often interpreted as a deficit. The man who tries the hardest to be seen is the one who has become invisible. The man who shouts to be heard is the one who is silenced. You have likely felt this. You have crafted the perfect message, curated the perfect date, suppressed your own opinions to avoid conflict, and poured your energy into the void, only to receive apathy in return. You believe you are being kind. You believe you are being attentive. But the ancient biological machinery of the human observer interprets it differently. They do not see generosity. They see insolvency. They see a man spending emotional capital he cannot afford to lose. To understand why this happens and to fundamentally alter the trajectory of your social existence, we must strip away the romantic veneer and look at the wiring under the floorboards. We must stop thinking in terms of dating and start thinking in terms of signal fidelity, economic scarcity, and structural integrity. The first concept you must integrate is the law of signal fidelity. Most men operate under a strategic framework. They think, if I say X, she will feel Y. They treat communication like a vending machine. But humans are not linguistic creatures. We are biological radar systems. We spent millions of years communicating without language, reading microsignals, pupil dilation, posture, breathing rhythm, and the microscopic delays in response time. When you try to run a strategy, when you act cool while feeling anxious, or act aloof while feeling needy, you create interference. You create what I call signal dissonance. You are broadcasting two frequencies at once. Your words say, I am a high-value man with options, but your micro-behaviors say, please accept me, I am terrified of rejection. The human brain is an unmatched lie detector. It picks up on this instantly. It doesn't register as a lie. It registers as danger or low status. It creates a visceral repulsion. You cannot hack this. You cannot fake it until you make it, because the faking itself is the signal of inadequacy. True influence only begins when your internal state and your external action are perfectly aligned. This is not about performance, it is about congruence. If you are nervous and you own that nervousness with absolute stability, you display more power than the man pretending to be calm. This brings us to the currency of interaction, the inflation of presence.
In any economy, value is a function of scarcity. If a central bank prints unlimited money, the currency collapses. It creates hyperinflation. In social dynamics, your attention is the currency. When you are always available, when you reply instantly to every stimulus, when you offer your time without prerequisite, you are printing money. You are hyperinflating your own presence. You believe that by being available, you are building connection. In reality, you are liquidating your assets. You are training the other person to view your attention as a cheap commodity, something found in the bargain bin. Attraction is not built in the presence, it is built in the absence. It is built in the vacuum. The human mind hates an open loop. It craves closure. When you step back, when you allow silence to exist without rushing to fill it, you create a vacuum. The other person's mind rushes in to fill that space. They begin to think about you, wonder about you, analyze your last move. In that space, in that uncertainty, value is generated. This is not a game of playing hard to get. Playing hard to get is a manipulation. Being structurally scarce is a lifestyle. It means your time is actually valuable, your mission is actually important, and your attention is a limited resource that is invested, not given away. But to execute this, you must change your operating system from performer to auditor. Most men enter a room or a relationship with the mindset of an applicant at a job interview. They are there to qualify. They are there to prove they are good enough. This is the submissive frame. It hands all the leverage to the other side before a word is spoken. You must flip the polarity. You are not the applicant. You are the auditor. You are the architect inspecting the foundation. You are there to assess compatibility, to check for red flags, to see if their reality aligns with yours. When you adopt the mindset of the auditor, your behavior changes automatically. You stop over-explaining yourself because auditors do not justify their questions. You stop laughing at jokes that aren't funny because auditors do not bribe the auditee. You stop fearing silence because auditors use silence to gather data. This shift is subtle but violent. It changes the gravitational pull of the entire interaction. You are no longer seeking to be chosen. You are exercising the power of choice. However, you cannot fake this choice if you are terrified of the outcome. This brings us to the concept of the zero-point field, or what negotiation theorists call the BATNA, best alternative to a negotiated agreement. In any negotiation, the person who is most willing to walk away holds 100% of the power. If you need the deal, you have already lost the deal. If you need the relationship to work to feel whole, you have already doomed the relationship.
This is the paradox of solvency. To get the loan, you must prove to the bank you don't need the money. To secure the attraction, you must prove to the dynamic that you do not need the validation. This is not arrogance, it is sovereignty. Sovereignty means your emotional state is a closed system. It is not a thermometer that goes up and down based on the weather outside. It is a thermostat. You set the temperature. If she pulls away, you do not chase. If she tests you, you do not crumble. You remain in the zero-point field, a state of neutral, observant calm. This drives us into the mechanism of entropic tension. Comfort kills desire. We are wired to seek safety, but we are aroused by the unknown. We are drawn to the edge of the map. When you try to make everything safe, when you constantly reassure, constantly clarify, constantly apologize, you remove all entropy. You make the future 100% predictable, and a predictable future is boring. You must develop a high tolerance for ambiguity. When a moment becomes tense, when a silence stretches too long, your instinct will be to shatter the tension with a joke or a nervous comment. You must suppress that instinct. You must let the tension sit in the air. You must let the cord hang unresolved. In that unresolved cord, the other person feels the weight of your reality. They realize that you are not afraid of discomfort. and subconsciously that signals high biological fitness. It signals that you can handle the chaos of the world without flinching. This is the essence of masculine polarity. It is not about being macho, it is about being the stillness in the storm. Finally, we must address the architecture of your perimeter. We are told to be nice, but often nice is just a cover for weak boundaries. A man without boundaries is like a nation without borders. He has no identity, no economy, and commands no respect. You must understand that saying no is an act of creation. When you say no to disrespect, no to time wasting, no to behavior that violates your code, you are not being mean, you are defining the shape of your soul. You are giving the other person a map of how to interact with you. Without the word no, your yes means nothing. If you say yes to everything, your compliance is automatic and therefore worthless. But if you are a man who protects his perimeter, who is willing to cut off access when the toll isn't paid, your access becomes a prize. This is operant conditioning in its purest form. You teach people how to treat you, not by what you say, but by what you tolerate. If you tolerate ambiguity and disrespect, you are subsidizing it. You are paying for it to continue. When you withdraw your attention in the face of poor behavior, you are not punishing them, you are simply adhering to the laws of economics. You are stopping the funding of a failing enterprise.
Let's synthesize this into a practical reality. This is not about memorizing lines. It is about non-action. It is about what you stop doing. Stop reacting to every stimulus. Stop printing the currency of your attention until it is worthless. Stop auditioning for a role in someone else's play. Stop apologizing for your standards. Instead, inhabit the void. Become comfortable in the silence. Look at the world through the eyes of the evaluator. Understand that you are the only person responsible for your emotional regulation. When you integrate these principles, something strange happens. You stop trying to seduce. The desperation leaves your eyes. The urgency leaves your voice. You move slower. You speak less. You become heavier, more grounded. And suddenly, the world begins to organize itself around you. People are drawn to those who do not need them. They chase those who do not run. They value those who value themselves. This is not a strategy to get what you want. It is a philosophy to become who you are. The paradox is resolved not by winning the game, but by realizing you never needed to play it in the first place. You simply exist congruently within your own frame. And that, in a world of chaotic, reactive, desperate people, makes you a king.